pushing harder than you need to. The market's going to be there whether you are there or not. So what's the point in pushing yourself that hard? It's almost like, imagine the market is like David Goggins, just running, never stops, just running. And you're out of shape, we'll go with Steve. And Steve is trying to catch up. Steve might keep pace with David for 3 minutes. But if Steve tries to keep that pace, he's going to burn out. He's not going to be able to finish the race. David will. David's been doing it longer. So over time, I think you get more accustomed to the hours, and it also gets easier. Like, you can pick things up and build a watch list very quickly, especially because, Rushir, you're in Asfx and you know the language. It doesn't get harder for you over time. It gets easier. You start to see things faster. You see your trade pattern set up faster, and you know what you don't like faster, which makes it easier to turn away from it. You know what I mean? I've been locked in on Euro NZD today because I know this is where, if I find a trade, this is where my money is going to be today. You know what I'm saying? That's a great segue into yesterday's trade. So I took the position on Euro AUD. We talked about this on the live stream. We talked about it in the group chat. This was the pair that I was focused on the most yesterday. I'll show you the P&L from the position. I took the trade at about 9:30. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. So I marked it up just so you could see my entry at 157.27, my exit at 157.55, which was up near the 800 EMA. I was risking about 7 pips, 7.4 pips, and I got 28 pips out of the move, which is 4R. So that's a really great trade. I want to show you here on the 15-minute. The idea started based on the perfect TDI, perfect market sentiment in the buy zone, with the EMAs in an overall downtrend. So I had the 800 EMA above me, the dark blue line up here, as my target. When we woke up, we all started trading around 5 a.m. That's normally when most people in the group are at the desk. I saw this try to shift through the 200 EMA here. I didn't get long because we saw resistance to that level overnight, so I didn't want to anticipate that that level was going to be broken. However, we have to acknowledge that it made a higher high and a higher low from the low set in the Asian session. So it's still moving up overnight. I just wasn't ready to buy it here because I didn't know it was going to make this higher high at the close of this candle. So I waited. I watched it pull all the way back to the same level that it consolidated at the end of the Asian session into the start of the London session, this 157.15 zone. That zone was where I was able to go down to the 1 minute here at about 8:45 and find a D1 setup. The D1 happened as we were shifting up. See how the 8 and 21 EMAs crossed there? As we were bodying the 50, that's where we saw the D1 happen. And as you can see, I didn't just jump in there on the upshift. Like I was explaining to you this morning on Euro NZD, I like to wait for the shift to be in my direction before I take the trade. So I didn't just get in here when it shifted up, and I'll show you this on the 1 minute in a second. I waited, and as you can see, my entry comes as we're holding the 8 EMA, looking like we're ready to break through the 200. And if we break through the 200 again, my thought was, like I said, that it goes to the 800 EMA. So if you pull up the 1 minute next to this, I hope you guys can see this okay with the 15-minute and the 1 minute chart. I think you can. No one's complained about it yet. So then if we look at the 1 minute, I'm going to blow up the 1 minute first. There's the divergence. And I'm going to sync this line up so you can see exactly where it is on the 15-minute. Like I said, it's right there at that same zone we consolidated at overnight. That's that 1 minute divergence. Now, again, I'm not going to just buy it down here at 157.19 because that would have me in before this bar shifts the 8 above the 21 EMA. So I'm waiting, and I see it hold the 50 EMA here multiple times. So in my mind, this is where we're setting in a higher low off the divergence low. So if I draw the line at the divergence low, that's the original bottom. This would then be the higher low. Now with the TDI in the buy zone on the 1 minute at that point, my thought is I want to see it hold the structure here, meaning holding the TDI in the buy zone, holding that 1 minute market sentiment line in the buy zone, and I want to see it hold the 8 and 21 EMAs and continue. I don't want it to break back down through the 50 because I've, through my back testing, proven that these 50 EMA retests are super solid entry points. We call them safe entries for the D1. And for those of you that are in ASFX, I'm doing a webinar. We got a lot coming. I'm doing a webinar on June 26th for members only. If you're not in ASFX, get the courses now on the summer sale so you can be there for that webinar. It's on Saturday, and I'm going to be going over all of these D1 entries that I've taken, going into more detail than I gave in the course. The course was built and it works, but now we've just adapted to that over time. So I'm going to give everybody a free update. So if you want to be a part of that webinar, you just got to get in and get in the courses. But anyway, mark your calendars, June 26th. But anyway, again, 50 EMA retest. I'm watching that 1 minute liquid 50 hold the buy zone, and I closed the trade fully when it hit 157.55. I didn't get out. Let me exactly see where was my exit. 55.4. This ends up moving up to about 56. So I was about 1 pip off the top. My thought was, and you would look at that and say, Austin, that's an amazing exit. How did you do that? Really, normally I'm not picking the top like that. I'm honest with you guys 100%. I'm not picking the top like that. I closed it there because I knew that it could not body the 800. I knew that it could pin it and come down off of it. I've done so many markups that I know a perfect L50 like this, counter trend to the 800 EMA, more times than not, will either sit on the 800 or bounce down off of it. So I'm very happy to take that 4R right there at the 800 EMA. It's always about risk reward. Some people would be like, oh, it's only 28 pips. Yeah, but I only risked 7. I risked $70 to make 280. I risked 7,000 to make 28,000. You get the point? So I feel like you just have to focus on risk reward. And with this setup, even though it's counter trend, I liked it because of that perfect market sentiment. I liked it because of the structure all morning. Look at it. From the low on Monday, yesterday it just higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, bullish divergence, moves into a higher high. And that was the trade on Euro AUD. How's Euro NZD looking? Ooh, see, this is why I just said, guys, don't enter mid-candle. That was a nice pin. It was looking good. And now look at it. That's why you have to wait for candle closes. Right there is a great example. I bought the backtest. Can I ask about the backtest report? Bought it and love it, but it's been a click for me. But I know what percentage of winners should be looking